The bubble cane is not much different than the bubble cane that you have seen me making in the translucent series. It just requires a specific type of blend. On top I have 4 parts translucent with 1/8 black and half purple pearl, and on the bottom 4 parts translucent with 1/4 of peacock pearl. So I will be first doing the translucent with peacock. And watch my Skinner blend tutorial to see what to do in case your gradient doesn't gradiate well enough. But anyway, once I get my gradient, I will first remove some of the pure peacock pearl that I have on the end, because I don't really need pure color. And then I will cut it in length and stack it, so I can go with it through the pasta machine in length, first on the thickest setting and then gradually until I get on the thinnest setting, obtaining a very long ribbon that I will start rolling in a jelly roll with the blue on the inside. And that is the bubble part that I will be wrapping in white on the thinnest setting. As I said, this is a little bit of a more special bubble cane. And then once I do that, I will have to start working on my second Skinner blend. As you can see, I put that 1/8 of black on one side, and then actually the black was a little bit too much, so I removed, so I would say use 1/16 of black, and then I will be removing a little bit of that purple and actually add some more translucent, one more part translucent, because, and see, I still have too much black. In order to get this Skinner blend properly, you don't have to have a lot of black. And I will do the same. I will cut it in length and then get it through the pasta machine. But this time I will be fan folding it. Not doing it in a jelly roll. And then I will start flattening it, because what I need of it is to make a sheet that contains a gradient, and that is what I will be using to wrap the bubble part of the cane. Until I can get it through the pasta machine on the thinnest setting, and then I trim it nicely so I can get rid of those extra parts, and I wrap it with the black side inside and the purplish side on the outside. And then once I did this, all I have to do is obviously first to check for air pockets, and then I need to start reducing it. I am speeding this up a little bit so you don't have to watch me for minutes on end reducing this, but I still want you to see how to reduce it. Now remember, in the bubble cane, because it's an organic cane, it's not like the lace cane, you do not arrange the bubble part in an orderly fashion. You want it to be very organic, so you arrange them fairly haphazardly, so they wouldn't be really alike. And this is why I will have some that are a little bit bigger and some that are a little bit smaller, and not arranged all in the same way. And it's much easier to reduce it if you cut it in two. than if you keep it in one piece. And then once you have reduced it enough, then you start cutting it. And as I said, don't worry if some areas are a little bit thicker and some are a little bit thinner. And I will try to cut them in equal pieces, so they will be easy to stack together. After which I will start practically putting them together as they come. Yes, I know it will be a fairly fat and flat piece of cane, but I assure you it can be reduced easily. And once I stack them all together, I press from the middle towards the ends to make sure I eliminate any air bubbles. That is the most important part out of everything, to make sure you have no air bubbles. And once I reduce it a bit, this is how it looks like. Pretty, isn't it? We take the bubble cane and first we cut a piece of it that needs to be reduced quite a bit. And I will not keep you watching me reducing this, even if it doesn't really take too long, but it needs to be reduced to a snake, pretty much, not even a log. That would be about 1 centimeter or like 1/3 of an inch in diameter, and this one you flatten it, and after flattening it you start pinching one end and leave the other end as is. After which you take another piece of the cane, this time about double the length of the first one, and you start reducing it as well. But this one has to be even more reduced, to about 5 millimeters or a quarter of an inch. And this one is really a fairly long snake. Actually, not 5 millimeters, more like 4 millimeters. And again, I'm not keeping you watching me do all the reduction, just the snake itself. Once it gets to the snake level, and then I'll have to cut the ends. It's okay if on one end there is a little bit of deformity, and then I will cut in 16 pieces. You see, I cut it first in 2, then I will cut both halves in 4, and then I will cut them again so I can get twice 8 pieces, and each of these pieces need to be flattened. After which we can start assembling our dragonfly wing. First, get a few of the flattened pieces and start putting them together with so they would kind of be stuck together on the flat side, not on the long side. And get enough that they would be form just a slightly longer stripe than that first reduced piece is long. And if you noticed, the first reduced piece is about twice as long as these ones. That is because I will cut it in two. So first place the reduced first piece on the stripe made with the flattened pieces, then cut it in two and insert the narrower end between the first piece and the stripe made with the smaller pieces. After which, continue to add the flattened pieces and also insert just one piece in that little depression that's between the first and the second very teardrop shaped pieces. It should look pretty much like this. And I'm sorry, it was too much sunshine, so I had to change the contrast on the video. Some of them will have to be a little bit more flattened, the ones that are towards the tip of the wing. Essentially, what I am doing, I am reproducing the natural design of a dragonfly wing, pretty much. It's not perfectly following the anatomical dragonfly wing. It's fairly close now. And always check the front and the back of the cane to make sure that you have positioned your little pieces of snake correctly, both in the front and in the back. And just keep adding towards the end of the wing until you run out of small pieces. And then press real good to make sure that you didn't trap any air between those pieces. After which the whole, this is pretty much the cane, and it will have to be wrapped in white. This is how it looks like. Before wrapping it in white, I will have to reshape it so that the longish slices, teardrop shapes, have to be on the straight line and the other ones on the curved line. After which I am wrapping it in white on the thinnest setting possible. Because what is left of the white wrapping around the bubble cane is not thick enough to do a good delimitation of the dragonfly wing. And once I do that, and I am sure that everything is in place and there are no air pockets and the wing is properly shaped, as you can see, I reshaped it with those teardrop flat, bigger slices of cane, pieces of cane on the straight line and the other ones on the curved line of the wing. And I will make sure that it's nicely curved, not that triangular. So you can see how I am shaping it, and I'll actually kind of flatten it on the work table as well to form that curve of the wing. And once everything is well shaped and properly shaped, I will cut about 1/3, actually a little bit more than 1/3, and the bigger part will be left as is, and the smaller part I will reduce it a little bit more to form the second wing. Because always the second wing of the dragonfly is just a little bit smaller. It has to be about 3/4 to 4/5 of the bigger one, of the first wing. So pretty much like this. Now once I did that, I am going to start working on the body. And what I have there is actually just a plain striped cane made with translucent and white. That has been flattened many times, so the stripes are exceptionally thin. And as you can see, I am reducing it even more to have it even thinner than that. After which I will take a slice, but I start rolling it in length of the stripes. So the stripes, this will be the abdomen, and on the abdomen you want the stripes to go in the length. And then I will take another piece, and that time I will be rolling it with the stripes crosswise for the thorax. And this one I will actually cut in two, and one will become the thorax and the other one will become the head with the eyes. And to form the eyes, after I make it into a sphere, look so you can have the stripes vertically, and then with the back of your blade form a line depression that will be the delimitation between the eyes of the dragonfly. Of course, the colors are my choice. You can choose whatever else you want. I have put this background on a cuff. It's a remnant from a cane. I just liked the way it looks. It almost looks like reeds, like cattails. And it's just remnants of a cane that I went with through the pasta machine on the thickest setting. And then I am placing the components of the body of the dragonfly, making sure that it's right in the middle. And then I will place the wings. So I need 2 slices of each, the bigger wing and the smaller wing. Try to cut them fairly thin. I'm trying to get, if possible, even under 1 millimeter, so they would look pretty and delicate. And I did off camera, I reduced even more the canes, and I made 2 smaller dragonflies at the ends of the cuff. But after you cut your wings, place them. You might need to make the inner end of the lower wing a little bit pointier, so it can fit well between the body and the top wing. Just make sure that you position them symmetrically. And once you did that, you can go ahead and bake it. And this is how it looks like. I thought of putting some acrylic on top, but then it just looks so delicate and beautiful. And it is baked here, and I placed a chain with a toggle. And this is your dragonfly wing cane with a bonus bracelet cuff. Happy claying!